What makes Frontier Toyota so awesome?
They make it so easy.
They treat people right.
They're straightforward.
Frontier Toyota is also the proud recipient of Toyota's President's Cabinet Award, one of only 12 dealerships in the nation to win the award.
It's our customers.
Because at Frontier Toyota,
it's about you!
Come in or buy online at frontiertoyota.com. Frontier Toyota, Creekside Road in Valencia. What makes Frontier Toyota so awesome?
They make it so easy.
they treat people right.
They're straightforward.
Frontier Toyota is also the proud recipient of Toyota's President's Cabinet Award, one of only 12 dealerships in the nation to win the award.
It's our customers.
Because at Frontier Toyota,
it's about you!
Come in or buy online at frontiertoyota.com. Frontier Toyota, Creekside Road in Valencia.
Hello and welcome to the Signal News Podcast. I'm your host, Aron Bender. Conversations with newsmakers, journalists, and others about current events in the Santa Clarita Valley. My thanks to Signal publisher Richard Budman and editor Tim White for the opportunity. If you have comments or questions, you can email me at abender@signalscv.com. In this first episode, we're going to talk economy, a checkup, if you will, on the health of business in the 661. Holly Schroeder is joining me, President and CEO of the Santa Clarita Valley Economic Development Corporation. Holly, thanks for joining me.
Sure, happy to be here.
First episode and everything, just no pressure, okay? No pressure.
No pressure at all.
No pressure at all. So before we talk about the Valley's economic health as it stands now, let's go back to maybe this time last year, or maybe the outlook that you put out in 2019 for 2020. Speak to that a little bit. What did you expect for 2020?
Well, things looked really great for 2020, and Santa Clarita Valley's economy has been, over the past several years, very, very strong. We've been outpacing LA County overall in terms of job growth. We've been had some of our record lowest unemployment. So it's been in a very, very good situation. And then, of course, the pandemic hit and the safer at home orders, and the world changed on a dime.
Take me back, if you could, also a little bit, well, not a little bit further, but a lot further. We go back to 08, 09 as we entered the recession. How does this year compare to then? And really, since the recession is fresh enough in our minds, is it reminiscent of that, or is it just a completely different animal?
I think you can make arguments either way, but the thing that feels different to me about it was, one, how rapid it happened. Everybody really felt it all at once at the same time, versus the financial crisis of 08. We need to stop calling it the recession because we've got two now.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
And was started in the home building and mortgage industry and then rippled out from there. So different sectors felt it at different times, versus here, everyone, including just residents, felt it all at once really fast. And I think that has a dramatic impact on both us psychologically and on the ripple effects of the economy.
When did you start hearing from businesses in Santa Clarita earlier this year? About when do you feel like, not necessarily time-wise, but just, I guess, in the process of things, when do you feel like you started hearing from businesses like, wait a minute, we're going to need some help, or we need some guidance as to exactly how to navigate these uncharted waters?
Well, we started hearing from businesses immediately when the safer at home orders were issued, of people trying to figure them out. Were they essential? Were they not essential? If they were essential, how could they operate? How do we figure out how to work from home for those companies that had the ability to have some of their employees do that? It was a very chaotic time of them trying to figure things out. And then the federal intervention of the CARES Act and the PPP came in, and people were trying to figure out, do I take that? What are the rules? So that was another set of questions on that. And that came at a time that really, I think everybody thought at the time that if we kicked the can a little bit, we would get the virus under control, be it a short-term loan, and it would sort of be a bridge. And of course, here we are months later, and that's not been what has played out in terms of the health side of the crisis. And so throughout this, as time went on, we kept hearing from businesses about, the challenges that they were facing in the loss of demand, and their inability to operate became, more and more significant.
If we took just a random sample of 100 businesses in Santa Clarita, how many do you feel like, and maybe you do have some raw numbers like that, how many survived? How many just had to close up shop? How many have kind of put things on hold and said, you know what, we'll see you next year?
It's a hard number to get at. And again, it probably comes down to some of the sectors that you talk about. But, Santa Clarita Valley has been hard hit. I mean, our two largest employers, our private sector employers, Magic Mountain is closed. We don't know when that's going to open. And Princess Cruises, which is, our large corporate employer, has had, until just recently, the CDC had said they couldn't do cruising. And now they're starting to get the guidelines on how they might be able to do cruising. But, they've really been in a suspended state of affairs for the majority of 2020. And then, another big sector here of our industrial base in the Santa Clarita Valley is the aerospace industry. And with flights pretty much being, dropping precipitously, there's been no demand for new planes, which that trickles through all of our manufacturing, or a lot of our manufacturing. Filming was shut down for most of the entire second quarter. That is fortunately rebounding very well. But during that period was really bad. And then, of course, the thing everybody experiences on a day-to-day basis is their ability to go to the store, ability to, get a meal, and what does that look like in their lives? All of those businesses have been pretty hard hit.
Yeah, the idea that College of the Canyons usually has thousands of students there on campus every day. And as a former college student myself, I'd pop off campus and grab the junkiest food I could find. And those restaurants just aren't being patronized now like they used to be. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And now that we can dine outside, those that have the capacity, just because of what their outside space looks like, maybe have an opportunity to expand and get back to better volumes. Those that don't have that, just because of the location they happen to be in, are still struggling. And those that were able to, be in a location that allowed for that more pickup and had menu items that, that were geared towards being able to be grab and go, versus ones that maybe that wasn't really a great situation for the type of food they made, they're still struggling.
What kind of help does EDC provide? What is your role in just making sure that the world keeps spinning?
Yeah, so there's two pieces to it. So in the pandemic, our role really was around helping businesses understand the rules, getting lots of clarification from the county public health officials, and then frankly, advocating for a reopening and a more sensible way of having a healthy reopening for our businesses. Really trying to push on where's the data that says that this is a risk and that's a risk, and really trying to get clarification on that. And we have seen in the Department of Public Health's own data that the levels of compliance from the businesses with the health protocols is really, really high. And so, we think that that's really important for people to know that these businesses are stepping up and taking their responsibilities to their customers and to their employees very seriously. And then there's the normal world of what the EDC does, which is we focus on helping businesses move to the Santa Clarita Valley. We work to attract them, and we work to help the businesses that are here stay and expand. And that's the normal world that we do. And that's actually still going on. It did kind of fall off a cliff.
Yeah, I was going to ask,
second quarter,
how.
But now that is coming back. And certain sectors in this new world of working, responding to the pandemic and the safer at home orders have thrived. We saw, obviously a huge surge in e-commerce. We have 2 new Amazon facilities that have opened up in the Santa Clarita Valley that are really hundreds and hundreds of new jobs. And now that filming has been reopening, we're back to seeing even more than what we saw pre-pandemic, which was a search for soundstage space. We were already seeing a lot of studio interest in the Santa Clarita Valley before the pandemic, and now after a quarter of being shut down, and everybody, including including your grandmother and all of everybody and everyone, learning how to stream and seeing all the options that are out there, tremendous demand for content. We're seeing the demand for studio space really, really increase.
Yeah, new filming was back, at least to some degree, when I was exiting the 14 at Placerita Canyon and I looked to the east, and that dirt lot is just completely packed with cars and trailers.
Yeah. We've really, and Santa Clarita and Santa Clarita Valley is a very desirable film location. The city is very friendly and responds with film permits really quickly. There's a lot of people who work in the industry that live here, so they're very flexible with location filming on their street and parking or whatever that might be. And we have our movie ranches, which can really adapt to be any terrain that the director can imagine. And so it's great to see filming coming back. And since we've watched everything there is to watch already during the shutdown, we need new content.
So we started this conversation talking about, in 2019, how did 2020 look? When did that come out? And in 2019, when do you usually look ahead and put that report out?
We usually do our economic outlook forecast in the spring, in March. We were scheduled to do our forecast this year, literally the day after the WHO declared a pandemic. So we ended up having to cancel that event with 26 hours notice. It was very disappointing. And then we did some short webinars, and you can find all that on our website. And then we redid the event as a virtual event in September, and we did an update to the forecast.
How difficult? I mean, it's difficult anyway. You're reading tea leaves and numbers, and I mean, how difficult is it now to even attempt to look beyond maybe 3 months?
It's a challenge. I mean, we have great economists that work with us. But there's, in every forecast right now, I mean, there's always some contingencies, and they're really significant right now because there is a lot of unknowns. And so it's usually a little bit of, if these things are in place, then we expect this to happen. If this is not in place, then these other things are going to happen, because that's the only way, because it is the government actions right now, the public health actions are driving, the reopenings and as long as that's the case, as we still have continued closures, that's going to affect the economy. Or if we find a different relationship between reopening and our public health policies. Nonetheless, we still think, our current forecast has us recovering, maybe a third of the jobs that we lost by the end of the year, somewhere between a quarter and a third, hopefully recovering all of the jobs that were lost by maybe the end of 2022, early 2023. So this is not, just booming back up. Again, fortunately, we do have growth space. We are building new industrial space. We're building new homes. So we'll have construction activity and buildings for new businesses to move in. So we have that to our advantage. A lot of places in the state don't have that. So we're really queued up that as the economy recovers, we'll be able to meet the need of those businesses.
If a business owner is listening to this, struggling or otherwise, and they feel like, okay, I need to reach out to the EDC to get help with this, that, or the other, what do you recommend they do process-wise?
Yeah, they can just reach directly out to me or to someone on my team. Our website's scvedc.org. All of our information and also what's happening. We have a blog and a podcast and all that kind of thing that's on there, but all of our contact information is on there, and so people can reach out to us directly, and we'll try to help them out.
That's Holly Schroeder, President and CEO of the Santa Clarita Valley Economic Development Corporation. Holly, first episode in the books. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Come back for another episode of the Signal News Podcast every week. Email me your comments and questions at abender@signalscv.com. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.
What makes Frontier Toyota so awesome?
They make it so easy.
They treat people right.
They're straightforward.
Frontier Toyota is also the proud recipient of Toyota's President's Cabinet Award, one of only 12 dealerships in the nation to win the award.
It's our customers.
Because at Frontier Toyota,
It's about you.
Come in or buy online at frontiertoyota.com. Frontier Toyota, Creekside Road in Valencia. What makes Frontier Toyota so awesome?
They make it so easy.
they treat people right.
They're straightforward.
Frontier Toyota is also the proud recipient of Toyota's President's Cabinet Award, one of only 12 dealerships in the nation to win the award.
It's our customers.
Because at Frontier Toyota,
It's about you.
Come in or buy online at frontiertoyota.com. Frontier Toyota, Creekside Road in Valencia.